please welcome to the stage, Jaden Clark.
Let's understand that when we stand together, we will always win. When men and women stand together for justice, we win. When Black, white, and Hispanic people stand together for justice, we win. Bernie Sanders' campaign slogan, "Not Me, Us," highlights many ideals that encompass the ideology presented in this quote. Sanders, U.S. Senator from Vermont, is vying to be the next president of the United States. Since he was mayor of Burlington, Vermont in 1981, he's advocated for affordable housing, progressive taxation, environmental protection, child care, women's rights, youth programs, and the arts. He has served as Vermont's congressman in the House of Representatives for 16 years, and in 2006, he was elected to the U.S. Senate. He's now serving his third term in the U.S. Senate after winning his re-election in 2018. And while in Congress, he has continued to fight for working families, focusing on the shrinking middle class and growing gap between the rich and those that are not as financially endowed. Bernie's family component serves as one of the key factors that reflects in his governmental paradigms that he plans to implement in office. He's blessed to have a wife, 4 children, and 7 grandchildren that influences his perspective on societal issues. I remember watching an interview he did with CNN in 2015, and he was asked if he considers himself a politician. His response was this: "My life has been motivated from way back when I was a kid to fight for social and economic justice, and that's what motivates me. Took me into politics, and so yes, that makes me a politician." He discussed the environment he grew up in and still allowed us to see his authenticity and societal truth. He remains true to himself and his humble beginnings, and throughout that interview, he allowed us to see a more vulnerable aspect of himself, aside from the politics and campaigns. Sanders' initiatives, Medicare for All and College for All, are just 2 of the many initiatives that resonate with the public, especially those from lower income communities. The idea of creating a single-payer national health insurance program that provides everyone with health care coverage free at the point of service, as well as the coverage being expanded to cover a wide range of medical services, is one that is long overdue and essential to our community today. College for All, ensuring guaranteed tuition and debt-free public colleges, universities, HBCUs, MSIs, and trade schools to all groups of people, making grand and yearly investments into these institutions, expanding Pell Grants, and increasing funding for the work-study program means gaining assets that can benefit current students and the future generations to come. Bernie Sanders continuously voices that he is a voice for the people and shows that he is an advocate for the progression and equitable treatment of all. Thank you so much.
Crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment lines, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know, talking about a revolution sounds. Poor people gonna rise up, get their share. We're gonna rise up and take what's theirs. Don't you know you better run, 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 run. Oh, I said you better run, 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 run. 'Cause finally the tables are starting to turn. Talking about the revolution. It's finally the tables are starting to turn. Talking about a revolution, oh no. Talking about a revolution, oh, while they're standing in the welfare line, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment lines, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know, talking about a revolution.
welcome to the stage, Todd Warren.
Good morning, Winston-Salem State. My name is Todd Warren. I'm a public school teacher and parent in Greensboro, North Carolina. And I unequivocally support Bernie Sanders as the next president of the United States. There isn't a single issue in his core platform of issues that doesn't directly impact the lives of our students and staff and families every day. As a teacher, I love his plan to reinvest in public schools. Bernie doesn't just name the problems that we face. If you work in a school, you already know what they are. Racial inequity and discrimination, stagnant pay, deteriorating infrastructure, over-testing. We know the problems all too well. But finally, in Bernie, we have someone running for the President of the United States that recognizes that solving these problems, we have to seriously reinvest in our public schools. I'm talking about things like tripling Title I funding in our nation's poorest schools, raising starting teacher pay to $60,000 a year, incidentally, if you work as a teacher in North Carolina, you could work your entire life and never see $60,000 a year. I'm talking about huge increases in federal funding for special education students, instead of leaving it up to North Carolina, states like North Carolina, to do it on our own. But then when our students graduate K-12, then there will be college for all, tuition-free college for all. And for historically black colleges and universities like Winston-Salem State, there is over $1 billion in reinvestment. These are just a few of the details. But the details are important because they are significant indicators that this campaign has a plan to win. For far too long, we as teachers, those of us in public schools, go to work day to day without enough. We don't have paper towels in the bathroom. We don't have air conditioners at work. We're not paid enough. We can't keep bus drivers because we don't pay them or give them health care. We're not going to work on these shoestring budgets anymore. No more. Together with this movement, we have a plan to win. For those of us that work in public schools, bus drivers, teachers, assistants, counselors, nurses, principals, all of us, we've grown tired of the lacking of these basic resources and staff to do a job that we love so much. We love our students. We love teaching. But we have to stop pretending that love is enough. We need resources. We need resources to make sure that our students are prepared for their lives, that they're adequately prepared for their lives ahead. We need resources in order to end persistent racial inequities in the classroom and outside the classroom. I'm for Bernie, not just because for his fantastic education policy, because every single issue in this campaign directly impacts the lives of our students. And when we win, and we will win, we will dramatically improve these lives of these students to achieve not only academically, but their ability to thrive in this world. This is what public education is about. This is what we have to be about. All of these issues. Housing is a public education issue. Parents and staff making a living wage is a public education issue. Access to quality, affordable health care is a public education issue. And a Green New Deal, we're talking about literally working to make the planet habitable for our students, for the children that come after us, is a public education issue. But We know the problems. We know the issues. What we need are solutions. Bernie Sanders gives us the vision to make that happen. Bernie helps give us the organization to make that happen. But, and I need you to hear me on this, Bernie needs us in order to make it happen. We are the ones that will make it happen. In the next few days, let's knock doors. Let's make phone calls. Let's get out the vote because we are in this together. Let's win North Carolina.
road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again.
Please welcome to the stage, Larry Little.
How's Ram Nation doing? I almost feel like chewing tobacco. If you ain't a ram, then chew tobacco, chew the... Brothers and sisters, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to welcome to the campus of WSSU, and I am an alumnus of WSSU. I'm a professor here at WSSU. And it's my distinct honor to be happy and proud that we have on our campus the next President of the United States. Dr. Martin Luther King talked about America's three sins: racism, economic exploitation, and militarism. Bernie has been a champion in the fight against racism all of his adult life. Bernie was arrested for fighting against racist housing practices as a college student. Bernie Sanders describes himself as a democratic socialist. Dr. Martin Luther King, in his book, Chaos, Our Community, described himself as a democratic socialist. A. Philip Randolph, perhaps the greatest civil rights leader, was a democratic socialist. And Brother Malcolm X, as he evolved, became a democratic socialist. Brother Malcolm. Bernie feels that America should work for the majority of the hard-working American people and not just the 1/10 of 1% that controls the majority of the wealth. That is succeeding. Bernie Sanders and Dr. Martin Luther King opposed the war in Vietnam. We know how correct they were. Bernie opposed this disastrous war in Iraq. And we need to be that's right, he opposed it. In 2009, the students got their act together and elected one of their own to the city council. A senior at Winston-Salem State was elected to the city council as the highest vote getter in this city. That's our brother Durham Montgomery. Would you stand, brother? Bernie needs help. He needs people like Durham in the Congress of the United States. That's why he's running. Bernie supports tuition-free public college education. Can I hear? Bernie Sanders support loan forgiveness. How many of you students going to have thousands? Bernie supports and will fight for $10 billion to HBCUs. And finally, I have friends who say, Larry, anybody but Trump, he's dangerous and a threat to our nation. But we don't have to settle today for the lesser of two evils. We have a genuine champion for working class people, for students, the future. We have a champion we can vote for. Finally, my friend said, Larry, I didn't vote for Mike Bloomberg. I said, oh, hell no. versus Trump is simply two cheeks on the same ass. We want Bernie. 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 We want
Make a change in your life and make it for the better. Don't you wait no longer.
Now, please welcome to the stage, Keith Ellison!
How you doing, my Rams? You guys feeling good? Well, that's a good thing, because I want you to know and I want you to remember that every great thing, every good thing that has ever happened in this country has been led by young people. At this very university, you had young people 30, 40 years ago who said segregation and Jim Crow was absolutely unacceptable, and they would do anything to change it. You all had your forefathers, your foremothers who stood up for what was right in their generation. The question is now, are we going to stand up for what's right in this generation? They confronted segregation, Jim Crow. They confronted hate. They confronted what was wrong. And they said, you know what? We don't care what the odds are. We care about what is moral, what is just, and what is right. And they stood up and they laid it all on the line, and they changed the world. And I believe you're about to do that in just a few short days. I want you all, remember, you all are carrying signs, and they all have Bernie's name on them. And that's a good thing. We love our Bernie, do we not? But Bernie says, not me, us. He says, not me. He says, not me. And that is exactly what this movement is all about. And I'm not going to say nothing bad about nobody, but I'll say this. I know of no other candidate who is focused on the collective good of our nation more than Bernie Sanders. You know what? And there's this question that has come up in the last few days. You heard it. Oh, who's electable? Y'all heard that one? Who heard this thing about electability? Anybody heard that? I'm not the only one who heard about that. Well, I don't know about you, but I think winning popular vote 3 times in a row makes you pretty electable. I don't know about you, but winning elections makes you electable. I actually don't understand the logic of saying this person has lost a bunch of elections, but they're electable. I think that makes you not electable. But Bernie has been winning. But more than winning, Bernie has been winning because Bernie is committed to improving the lives of all of us and everybody in this country. And he is not afraid to stand up to the powers that be. And you are not afraid. So you and Bernie together are not afraid to embrace a better future than what we have right now. And I'm telling you, I don't have to tell you. I don't have to say a word. You know how much student loan debt you got, right? I don't have to say a word. You know how much that insulin that you're trying to pay for costs, right? I don't have to say nothing about the immoral and wrong a burden that is on the shoulders of young people today. This economy ain't fair, y'all. It just is not. This economy is not fair. It's just not. And people who say, how is it moderate to insist on standing with the people who maintain unfairness in our economy? You know what? I think it's moderate, and it is the moral center, as Reverend Barber said just last night,
to say we're going to make sure everybody can go to the doctor. I think it makes sense and it's morally just and right and is the moral center to say that we're not going to be in these endless wars because we know who fights them. You do. People your age sent by people our age to go die in some faraway place to fight somebody who never did nothing to them. But see, this is wrong. We are not going to send our children to no oil wars under the leadership of Bernie Sanders, y'all. And so it is important, and you should know that, I'm going to tell you, these pundits out here, they like to say stuff like, well, Bernie, in order for Bernie to win, he's got to have a turnout from young people. Let me tell you, I believe in young people. I believe in you. Who believes in the sit-inners, the ones who sat in and fought segregation? Who believes in that? Who believes in the sunshine movement today, standing up for climate sense and climate justice? Who believes in those young people who said, I'm going to fight for 15 and get my fair pay? When I think about young people today, it is inspiring to my 56-year-old heart. You guys give me inspiration. You make me feel that things are going to get better because you won't back down and you won't quit. And you don't even know that you can't win because you're too young to know how hard this world can be sometimes. So you keep fighting for a better world, and that's how come you change the world, because you will not accept the status quo. Am I right about this? And so don't let the cynics discourage you. Commit to your values, believe in what you're doing, and know that we are going to win because our cause is just. Know that we are going to win because we have a candidate just as bold and committed as we are. So get out there and vote. Early vote has already started. Y'all know about that? Let me say this as I wrap up. You all are the leaders. Everybody in here is the leaders. You are the leaders. So asking you to go vote for Bernie, that's a waste of time. You already gonna do that. But are you gonna go get somebody else? We need you to go get 20, 30, 40, 100 people. We need you to clean out the dorm, brother. We need you to clean out the dorm, sister. You know what? We call it, we're going to storm the dorms, and go get everybody to vote for Bernie. And you know what? Talk to them. Listen to them. And don't just go for the young folks. Call up mom. Call up dad. Call up grandma. Call up uncle. Call your whole family and get them out to vote for Bernie, because Bernie Sanders is the right candidate for this moment in time. We are about to win. Thank you very much. Let's go get this thing.
You know her, you love her. Please welcome to the stage Bernie 2020 National Co-Chair, Nina Turner.
Let a sister get a mic going. Lord have mercy. North Carolina. Oh, Lord, they got a sister. Somebody come up here and turn on this mic. North Carolina! Oh, my God. Let me just tell you something. We're going to do this. And we're going to make Senator Bernard Sanders the 46th president of the United States of America. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. Lord, they got a sister pinned down. That's all right. The black girl magic is still real. Am I right about that? Hello, somebody. Somebody help a sister out. Thank you, Brian. There we go. Hey, how y'all doing out there? North Carolina. Lord, y'all can't keep a sister down. Come on, somebody. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. Lord, now, I'm free. Winston-Salem. Let me just say, you are the home of Local 22 of the Tobacco Workers Union, an interracial union that fought for justice. Hello, somebody. They were a civil rights force. Hello, somebody. Home of the Greensboro Four. Hello, somebody. And who you just had grace this stage, Dr. Little, who is a founding member of the Winston-Salem Black Panther Party. Hello, somebody. I'm just saying, what I'm saying, North Carolina, is that you have a civil rights history. And what we do understand is that right now, at this particular time in our nation's journey, that we need somebody that's going to go all the way ham on the system. Hello, somebody. Ask a millennial if you don't know what that means. Well, what does that mean, Sister Turner? I'm glad you asked. In a nation where so few people have so much and so many people have so little, we need a champion that's going to speak up on behalf of the workaday people of this nation. We need somebody who understands that poverty is not a crime. Hello, somebody. We need somebody who's going to speak up for the working class people of this nation. Hello, somebody. We need somebody who's going to say to Wall Street, I'm coming for your greed. To the pharmaceutical industry, I'm coming for your greed. To the fossil fuel industry, I'm coming for your greed. And then we got folks who want to sit up on national TV and defend billionaires as if they need to be defended. Now, where I come from, what my scripture says, because I'm a church girl, what you do for the least of these, my sisters and my brothers. So we have in Senator Bernie Sanders, in the words of Dr. Cornel West, a long-distance runner for justice. Hello, somebody. See, he didn't just get here. He didn't just start standing up for the working class people of this community. He didn't just start standing up and talking about these issues since running for president. I want you to hashtag receipts, hashtag roll the tape. And when you roll the tape, you will see somebody who was arrested in his 20s fighting for civil rights. Hello, somebody. Arrested. Senator Sanders got an arrest record. Hello, somebody. Standing up for civil rights, Dr. Little. Hello, somebody. Senator Sanders united. See, you will know a tree by the fruit that it bears. Senator Sanders united with the Fight for 15 SEIU folks. And because of their leadership with Senator Bernie Sanders, he introduced the Stop Bezos Act to ensure that Amazon would pay their workers $15 an hour. And because of his work with our sisters and brothers in the union, the workers at Amazon and Disney, 400,000 of our closest family and friends got a minimum wage increase. Hello, somebody. In other words, what are you saying, Sister Turner? I'm glad you asked. He didn't wait until he becomes president of the United States to get a consciousness. His conscience has been clear the entire time. You will know a tree by the fruit that it bears. There are too many people in this nation who are suffering, and we cannot judge the success of this nation based on what's happening on Wall Street. Baby, we need to know what's going on Main Street. Hello, somebody. See, we need somebody that doesn't see the world from the castle. We need somebody who sees the world from the streets. Hello, somebody. We need a street view champion. We need somebody who doesn't have to stand in the living room of multi-millionaires and billionaires and raise money. We need somebody who doesn't have to go to Crystal Lace wine caves, hello somebody, and raise money. We need somebody who has millions and millions and millions of people just like you donating to his campaign so that his only special interest is you and you and you and you and you and you. We're not going to play games with it. So when folks say that Medicare for all is too radical, when the people I've talked to across this country who are either uninsured or underinsured, who don't have the health care that they need to be able to sustain their life, to have somebody like Senator Bernard Sanders say that health care is a moral right, that's not radical, it's right on time. When people cannot afford their prescription drugs to sustain their lives. I met a family in Nevada, North Carolina, where the parents explained to me that their daughter needs a certain medication that costs $1,600 a month. Did you hear me? For one prescription, $1,600 a month. When Senator Sanders says, pharmaceutical industry, I'm coming for your greed, that's not radical, it's right on time. And then if I might, talk about a legal system in this country that sees black men as somehow more criminal than anybody else. That black men are overrepresented in this system that is unjust. Hello, somebody. We need somebody that's going to stand up and say that the black, brown, indigenous, and poor people of this nation need a champion. We are going to fix this racist legal system. That ain't radical. It's right on time. That's not radical. It's right on time. And then, ladies, if I may, that for far too long, we have not made dollar for dollar as white men in this nation. We want our whole damn dollar. We want our whole damn dollar. That's not radical. It's right on time. And to say that we need to take marijuana, hello. We're going to take marijuana off of Schedule 1. We're going to legalize marijuana in the United States of America. That's not radical. It's right on time. North Carolina, y'all messing with a sister. And to deal with the unfair, the BS war on drugs, and I ain't talking about Bernie Sanders, hello, that hurt so many black and brown communities, to say that you're going to make an investment in the very communities that were hurt by that is not radical, it's right on time. We serve it. Senator Sanders is a right-on-time candidate. And so for all the people who are standing up there on the stage in this Democratic Party and don't have the courage and the guts to say that we need to do a new thing in America, that what we are doing right now is not working for the working poor and the barely middle class, it is not radical, it is right on time. And you deserve more than what you have been getting. So don't let these folks who are okay with trillions of dollars worth of tax cuts fool you about what democratic socialism is. All it is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. And I want you to think about this, North Carolina. If you were in an ocean drowning, Doc, I want you to follow me on this. If you were in the ocean drowning, who do you want to come save you? The person that has to figure out what's practical about saving your life, or the person who's going to radically come in there and save your life? Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. That is Senator Bernie Sanders. He is for what is right, what is just, and what is good. He is in the spirit of President FDR. He is in the spirit of Ella Baker. He's in the spirit of Fannie Lou Hamer. He's in the spirit of Cesar Chavez. Hello. He's in the spirit of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He's in the spirit of the Greenboro Five. Hello, somebody. He's in the spirit of Mother Jones. Hello, somebody. She said, I would pray for the dead and fight like hell for the living. That is what we are doing, fighting like hell for the living. So we need each of you As Attorney General Ellison said and Dr. Little said, it's good when the family gets together, but we need you to put some sweat equity on this thing. We can make history and have transcendence in this nation. Senator Sanders needs you in front of him, behind him, and beside him. A movement of multi-gender, multi-racial, and multi-generational, conscious-minded people putting a little extra on their ordinary so that extraordinary things can happen. That is all of you in this room. We're going to win this thing. So can you do something for a sister? Can you do something for a sister? I need you to put up one hand for yourself and another hand for somebody else. The great Dr. Maya Angelou once said, have the courage to stand up for yourself and then the courage to stand up for somebody else. And with these hands, we will have Medicare for all. With these hands, we will have college for all. With these hands, we will cancel student debt. With these hands, we will reform the legal system. With these hands, we will have humane immigration. With these hands, we will legalize marijuana. With these hands, women will get their whole damn dollar. With these hands, we will have transcendence. And with these hands, baby, we will elect Senator Bernie Sanders, the 46th president of the United States of America. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on. Come on. Yeah, baby.
Winston-Salem, thank you. What a great turnout. And my thanks to the many hundreds who couldn't get in. Let me thank DJ Tremont Frank. Let me thank Delaney Vandergrift. Let me thank Jaden Clark. Let me thank Todd Warren. Let me thank Dr. Larry Little. And let me thank my old friend, Keith Ellison, Attorney General of Minnesota. Keith and I were in Congress together for many, many years. He's now one of the great attorneys general in this country. Keith, thanks for all you're doing. And what can we say about Senator Nina Turner? See, what Senator Turner is doing is not just being an active part of our campaign. She's been running all over this country, doing the most important thing that can be done, getting working people, getting young people involved in the political process, standing up and fighting for justice. Senator Turner, thank you. Our campaign is basically about two things. Number one, together, we will defeat the most dangerous president in the modern history of this country. The American people understand that we will not have 4 more years of a pathological liar. We will not have 4 more years of a corrupt administration. We will not have 4 more years of a president who is undermining American democracy and is somebody who has no respect for the Constitution of the United States. The American people, regardless of their political views, understand we cannot have someone in the White House who is a racist, who is a sexist, who is a homophobe, who is a xenophobe, and who is a religious bigot. And those are his good qualities. The American people also understand that Donald Trump is a fraud. See, in 2016, he campaigned in North Carolina, all over this country, and he said, I'm going to stand with working people. I'm going to take on the establishment. He lied. 2016, Trump said, I'm going to provide health care to everybody. But he tried to throw 32 million Americans off the health care they have. 2016, Trump said, hey, I'm not going to cut Medicare or Medicaid or Social Security. He lied. His budgets called for massive cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. 2016, Trump said, my tax plan not going to benefit billionaires like me. He lied. 83% of the benefits of his proposal over 10 years went to the top 1%. Donald Trump wants us to hate the undocumented. Oh, they're terrible people, says Donald Trump. But as a private businessman, you may recall, Donald Trump hired hundreds of undocumented workers so he could exploit them. Donald Trump said, oh, it's a terrible thing for companies to outsource American jobs to low-wage countries. But as a businessman, he had factories in China, in India, in Turkey, in Mexico, in Bangladesh, paying workers starvation wages. We are going to defeat Trump. Because the American people are demanding all over this country, and I've been from California, East Coast, all over. The American people want a government and an economy that works for all of us, not just the 1%. The American people are sick and tired of a grotesque level of income and wealth inequality. They're tired of 3 people owning more wealth than the bottom half of American society. They're tired of tax breaks for billionaires when 500,000 Americans are sleeping out on the street tonight. They're tired of a nation in which half of our people, and I grew up in this family, are living paycheck to paycheck. They're tired of starvation wages while the rich get richer. The American people are also tired of a corrupt political system in which billionaires are buying elections. When we talk about democracy, it means one person, one vote, not billionaires buying elections. And that is why we're going to overturn Citizens United. It is why we are going to end voter suppression in this country. You know, if Republicans want to run on their agenda of giving tax breaks to billionaires and cutting Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, education, and environmental protection, let them vote on that record and let them lose. But don't tell people of color, don't tell young people that they cannot participate in the political process. In America, if you are 18 years of age and you're a citizen of this country, you are eligible to vote. End of discussion. Now, the reason we won the caucus in Iowa, the reason we won the New Hampshire primary, the reason we won the Nevada caucus, the reason we're going to win here in North Carolina is because we have the strongest grassroots movement of any campaign in modern American history. Not only here in North Carolina or South Carolina, but all over this country, we have knocked on many, many, many hundreds of thousands of doors. We've made millions of phone calls. We don't need billionaire help to win this election. We've got the people. I don't have a super PAC funded by billionaires. We don't want a super PAC. I don't go to wealthy people's homes to raise money. We have the support of working families all across this country. I am enormously proud to tell you that we have received more campaign contributions from more Americans at this point in a campaign than any campaign in the history of American politics. As someone who grew up in a working class family, somebody who lived in a rent-controlled apartment for all of my childhood, I am proud to tell you, this is a campaign of the working class, by the working class, and for the working class. This is the campaign that is going to tell Wall Street and the insurance companies and the drug companies and the fossil fuel industry and the prison industrial complex and the military industrial complex that this country belongs to all of us, not just them. Now, you know, the establishment, in case you haven't noticed, they're getting very nervous. They're saying, oh my God, what's happening? Workers are standing up, demanding decent wages. Young people are standing up because they don't want to leave college $50,000 in debt. All over this country, people understand that health care is a human right, not a privilege. Young people are saying, you know what? We want our kids and grandchildren to grow up on a planet that is healthy and habitable. We got to combat climate change. So the establishment is getting very, very nervous. The establishment's line lately is, oh, Bernie, he can't beat Donald Trump. Can't beat Trump. Well, you know what? We are the strongest campaign to defeat Donald Trump. Because we have the energy and we have the excitement. We are going to bring working class people, black and white and Latino, Native American, Asian American, into the political process. And we're going to bring young people out to vote in a way this country has never seen before. So for all those people who say Bernie can't beat Trump, take a look at the last 50 national polls. Bernie beats him 47 out of 50. Take a look at some of the battleground states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Bernie beats Trump. Take a look at a poll that just came out this morning in Pennsylvania. Bernie is the only Democrat to beat Trump in Pennsylvania. So don't tell me Bernie can't beat Trump. We're going to beat him. We're going to beat him here in North Carolina. We're going to beat him all over this country. And I will tell you why we're going to beat him. It's not only our grassroots movement. It is also our agenda. And our agenda is saying that in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, we are sick and tired of workers earning starvation wages. Let us be clear. Nobody in America makes it on $7.25 an hour. You don't make it on $9 an hour. You don't make it on $10 an hour. We're going to raise that minimum wage to at least $15 an hour. We are sick and tired of women making 80 cents, women of color making 50 cents on the dollar. Not a radical idea to say that women earn the same as men for the work they do. And I'll tell you what else we're going to do. What we're going to do is make it easier for workers to join unions. Because if you're a worker and you want decent wages, you want decent benefits, you're going to have to be in a union to negotiate good wages and benefits. That's what we need. And we've got a proposal in that will double union membership in this country. And it is absolutely unacceptable to me, by the way, that here in North Carolina, you have the lowest rate of unionization in the country. And we're going to change that. And right now, some 2,000 nurses at Mission Health in Asheville are standing up for their patients and their profession. Thank you, nurses. And they are forming a union with National Nurses United. And I applaud those courageous nurses, and I urge the Hospital Corporation of America that owns Mission Health to treat their nurses with respect and dignity and stop union busting in that hospital. And we are going to create millions of good-paying jobs, good-paying union jobs, by rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure. We got roads and bridges, water systems, wastewater plants that must be rebuilt. And you know what else we got to do? I am tired of 500,000 Americans sleeping out on the street tonight. And that includes 30,000 veterans put their lives on the line to defeat us. I am tired of 18 million Americans spending half of their income putting a roof over their heads. You shouldn't spend 50% of your income for housing. That's why we're going to build 10 million units of affordable and low-income housing. And the reason we're going to win this election is we believe in education. 0 through 4 are the most important years of human development. And that is why we're going to have universal, high-quality, affordable child care for all. And we believe that all of our kids, regardless of income, deserve a high-quality public education. And that is why we're going to triple funding for low-income Title I school districts all across this America. And I say to the young people here, we need great teachers in America. There is no profession more important than being a teacher, which is why we are going to fight to make sure that no teacher in America earns less than $60,000 a year. We need more black teachers. We need more Latino teachers. We need more special ed teachers. And I hope that many of the young people here, people in HBCUs or whatever, will give serious thought to teaching. The children of this country need you. We need you. Give thought to becoming a teacher. And when we talk about education, we understand that in the year 2020, it is not good enough to talk about public education being kindergarten through 12th grade. That used to be okay, not anymore. Together we're going to make public colleges and universities tuition free. And if you're good with your hands and you don't want to go to college, we're going to make trade schools tuition free. And I'll tell you what else we're going to do. All right, you asked, I'll tell you. 12 years ago, Congress, against my vote, bailed out the crooks on Wall Street. 2 years ago, Trump and his friends gave $1 trillion in tax break to large corporations in the 1%. Well, if they could bail out billionaires and crooks, we can cancel all student debt in America. And when we talk about issues facing the American people, let us be clear. It is an international embarrassment. We are the only major country on earth, the only one, not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right. We are going to change that because health care is a human right, not a privilege. It is not a radical idea to say that when you get sick, you should be able to go to the doctor no matter what your income is. So right now, I want you all to hear this. Right now, under this dysfunctional system, we are spending twice as much per person on health care as do the people of any other country. You got that? Twice as much. We're spending $11,000 for every man, woman, and child. And yet, despite this huge expenditure, 87 million people are either uninsured or underinsured. We pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. At least 30,000 people in America every year die because they don't get to a doctor when they should because they're uninsured. And if you want to hear about the cruelty of a system, hear this. 500,000 people go bankrupt because of medically related debt. You know what that means? It means that you're suffering from cancer. You're suffering from a bad heart. You're suffering from Alzheimer's. You got enough to worry about trying to get well, and yet because of outrageous medical bills, you go bankrupt or your family is in financial ruin. That is an outrage. We're going to end that here in America. Now, while so many of our people are uninsured or underinsured, last year the healthcare industry made $100 billion in profits. So today we say to the insurance companies and the drug companies, the function of a rational healthcare system is to guarantee healthcare to all, not to make billions of dollars in profit for the healthcare industry. And that is why together we are going to stand up to the healthcare industry and pass a Medicare for all single-payer program. We have talked about universal health care in this country since the early 1900s with Teddy Roosevelt going all the way to Barack Obama. 100 years of talk is enough. Now is the time for action. And I want you all to know what Medicare for all means. Not a radical idea. It means no more premiums, no more copayments, no more deductibles, no more out-of-pocket expenses. Health care is a human right, not a privilege. We're going to bring that to the United States of America. Now, we got a president who thinks that climate change is a hoax. Well, I believe that Donald Trump is a hoax. And I will listen to the scientists, not right-wing extremists. And what the scientists are telling us is if we don't get our act together in the next few years, the planet that we will be leaving to our kids and future generations will be increasingly unhealthy and uninhabitable. The scientists are telling us they have underestimated the speed and severity in which climate change is wreaking havoc on this planet. So our message to the fossil fuel industry is, whether you like it or not, we are going to transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. The future of this planet is more important than the short-term profits of the oil industry. Now, Donald Trump thinks he's going to win re-election by trying to divide our people up. That's his strategy. We all know that. He wants to divide us up by the color of our skin, by where we were born, by our religion, by our sexual orientation, even by our gender. We are going to defeat Trump because we are bringing our people together, not dividing them up. And one way we bring our people together is by ending a racist and broken criminal justice system. And I want everybody to hear this. Today, we have more people in jail, disproportionately African American, Latino, and Native American, than any other country on earth. China is an authoritarian communist country 4 times our size. We got more people in jail than China does. What we are going to do together, we're going to work together on this issue, but we are going to invest in our young people, in jobs and education, not more jails and incarceration. It costs more money to put somebody in jail than to send them to the University of North Carolina. Well, I want to send them to the University of North Carolina, not let them rot in jail. So what we have got to do is end cash bail in this country. Do you all know that today 400,000 people are in jail having been convicted of nothing? Do you all know that? Well, how is somebody in jail today who has not been convicted of anything? They're in jail because they cannot afford cash bail. Well, if you're rich and you're convicted, you get out of jail. If you're poor and you can't afford $500, you stay in jail. We're going to end cash bail in America. We are going to end private prisons and detention centers. Corporations should not be making money locking up fellow Americans. And I'll tell you what else we're going to end. We're going to end the so-called war on drugs. On day one, there are some things as president you could do through executive order, some things you need legislation. Well, it turns out that one of the things you could do by executive order is to legalize marijuana in every state in the country. All right, I got a question here. How many people know somebody who was arrested for possession of marijuana? This is what the war on drugs has done in this country. And that is why we are going to move to expunge the records of those who are arrested on marijuana. I don't want some kid going out looking for a job not to be able to get that job because they have a criminal record for having possessed marijuana. Let's expunge those records. And I'll tell you what else we're going to do. This is not my idea. This came from some friends in the African American and Latino community. What they said is, okay, that's great. We're going to legalize marijuana all over the country, and that's going to happen. But we don't want a handful of corporations to be profiting from the legalization of marijuana. We want those communities, the African American, Latino, Native American communities that have been hit the hardest by the war on drugs, to be able to profit from the legalization of marijuana. And that is why we're going to invest in those communities, help those communities profit when we legalize marijuana all over this country. And by the way, this administration together is going to look like America. In all of our beauty, in all of our diversity. Now, when you turn on the TV and you look at our cabinet, I guarantee you there will be at least one old white guy there. But the rest of the cabinet will look like America looks like. And when we talk about reform, what we have to do to transform this country, we have got to deal with a very broken and racist immigration system. I am the son of an immigrant. My father came to this country without a nickel in his pocket, couldn't speak a word of English, had very little education. I will not accept the continuation of the demonization of the undocumented in this country. On day one, we will restore the legal status of the 1.8 million young people eligible for DACA. On day one, we end a border policy which allows federal agents to yank little babies from the arms of their mothers. And our administration will do what the American people want us to do, and that is to pass comprehensive immigration reform and a path towards citizenship. All of us, no matter what our political views may be, are disgusted and horrified by the level of gun violence in America. And let me simply say this. Our gun policy will be written by and for the American people, not the NRA. Now, Trump and the Republicans may be intimidated by the NRA. I will not be intimidated by the NRA. And whether they like it or not, we will have universal background checks. Whether they like it or not, we're going to do away with the gun show loophole. And whether they like it or not, we're going to ban the sale and distribution of assault weapons in this country. Now, I'm a United States senator, and as a senator, I hear a whole lot of speeches on the floor. And many of my Republican conservative colleagues, they talk about their belief in small government, their belief in getting the government off the backs of the American people. I say to those hypocrites, if you believe in getting the government off the backs of the American people, understand that it is women who have the right to control their own bodies, not the government. And my promise to you is I will never nominate anyone to the U.S. Supreme Court who is not 100% pro Roe v. Wade. We will codify Roe v. Wade, put it into law. Trump and his friends want to cut funding for Planned Parenthood. We're going to expand funding for Planned Parenthood. And guys, men, women now are under political assault. Now is the time for men to stand with the women. Bottom line here is not complicated. It is women who have the right to control their bodies, not the government. So, here we are in the beginning of the most consequential election in the modern history of this country. And on Tuesday, Super Tuesday, you're going to be voting here in North Carolina. I'm here today to ask not only for your support, but to ask you to bring out your friends and your family and your co-workers. I'm asking you to help create the largest voter turnout in the history of the North Carolina primary. I'm asking you to help me win here, to win the nomination, and to defeat Trump. But I'm asking something more of you than that. I'm asking you to be with me the day after we are inaugurated, so that we can begin the process of transforming this country and creating an economy and a government that works for all of us. Decent wages for our workers, educational opportunity for all of our people, health care as a human right, transforming our energy system to tackle climate change, ending a racist and broken criminal justice system, fundamental immigration reform, sane gun policy, and protecting a woman's right to control her body. Now, let me say this. As a senator, I know the power of the 1%. They have endless amounts of money. They control Wall Street and the insurance companies and the drug companies, the fossil fuel industry. The 1% is enormously powerful. But last time I heard, 99% is a heck of a larger number than 1%. So if we stand together and not let Trump divide us up, if we stand together around an agenda that works for all, not only will we defeat Trump, we're going to transform this country. Let us go forward together. Thank you all.